Hello, guys. Welcome to another podcast. So, here with me is Vishal Menon. He's been a friend, and we've been talking about cryptocurrencies for a long while. And we've been discussing about Bitcoin and other kind of stuff that is happening. But so here we decided that I need to set up a wallet. And why do I need a wallet? Well, he'll explain it better. But Vishal is a co-founder and CTO of Stackmate. And Vishal, why don't you tell me that what do you do and what is your relationship with cryptocurrencies as far?
Yeah, so to just preface everything itself, I would off the bat avoid the use of the word cryptocurrency, and I would be very specific about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I think we'll probably be doing this a little more regularly, and this will be like a recurring theme. So I'll let it just keep coming back to that as we go. But basically, we focus on building Bitcoin infrastructure. Okay. And that's basically all the different parts that's required for a Bitcoin economy. So that's involves multiple things. A lot of it involves the already existing technologies that we have. We're not of the mindset that everything has to be decentralized. There's still a lot of value in the way we were doing things. It's just now we have a better money to work with alongside that layer. And also, as we'll get into, how we're transforming that side to have more properties of things like verification through public key cryptography, through digital signatures, through encryption. We can have this we've had this vision of owning your data. Like, I'm in control of my data, because as we see today, all tech companies fundamentally make money out of your data.
Yeah.
So exactly. The moment we say you as a user now control that data, that's what allows you to kind of monetize it. And that concept of controlling data is a really vast subject. But if you think of it on a very simple level, just encrypting something is saying you own it, because nobody else can open it now because it's locked. So if you every time you interact with a centralized server like a Facebook or something, if you encrypt your stuff and put it on Facebook, there's nothing they can do with it. Just like Signal and WhatsApp, we can't say for sure, because there's no way to claim, there's no way to prove it.
But because it says it's encrypted and stuff in every message and everything. And they've been claiming it, they've been propagating and marketing it for a long while, that we are end-to-end encrypted platform. But never know for sure.
Verification is a very difficult thing to do with a lot of traditional applications. The ones that make it easy to verify are the ones that people will trust more easily. So we'll get into this subject on how you choose a wallet. So you want to choose a wallet that is easy to verify certain things. Firstly, a wallet has to be open source, and ideally it should be free software as well. Free software is one step above open source, where it's saying you even have the freedom to take this code and do whatever you want with it. You can make another copy of it. You can start another business with it if you want. You're free. It's free as in freedom, not free as in free of cost.
Yeah.
So they say it's not free beer, it's freedom. It's Libre software. So wallets, firstly, when you choose a wallet, it has to be open source. Otherwise, not happening. You cannot store large funds in a wallet that is not open source, because there's no way you as the end user can guarantee what this app is doing. This app is saying that it's holding your money and it's doing all this stuff, but if you cannot verify this, like in a technical way, or at least if you go to an auditor, if you go to a technical person and you show them your phone and say, hey, can you audit? I can audit Signal for you. I can audit these other apps for you, but I can't audit WhatsApp. So that's why we can't trust WhatsApp.
Once again, I'll be asking some dumb questions to you, so please forgive me for those things.
Go for it. No, go for it.
But the thing is, what is open source? Can you explain that to me as well? Like, what is open source actually, and what does it do?
So open source basically means the code is available. It's open for everybody to see. It's not hiding anywhere. The code is open.
But they can't alter it.
They can alter it, but any alteration you make, also the public can see it. So think of it like this: there's a box, right? There's a box, and this box does some magic. And you put something inside the box, and you get something outside the box. Now, this magic that this box does, I want to see the procedure. I want to see what it's doing. What I put inside the box is private. That nobody else will know. That's not open. But what the box does has to be public. Everybody should know how this box works. Everybody should be able to audit what this box is doing, how it's working. And only if it's working in the way it's saying I'm working, I'll use it, because I'm putting sensitive information into the box.
Yeah.
The information I'm putting in the box is a secret. That's not open. That's not private. That's totally private, rather. It's not open, but the box and how the box works has to be public and available to everybody. So when you think about like something like roads, like public service, roads, hospitals, all this stuff, public services, in the tech world, open source software are the public services. They are the roads and the bridges, and everybody uses it. Like Google uses open source software. Like Docker, for example, is an open source software that many big companies use, because if you're Zomato, you're solving a problem where you want to get food from the restaurant to the person's house. Zomato shouldn't have to solve low-level computer science problems that they outsource to the open source community. And these problems are so low level and they require so much specialization that as like a industry, we realized that some software is better open because it's safer open, and it's better for the advancement of civilization for this stuff to be open, because more eyes, more people are looking at it, more people can audit. Your bridge, for example, you don't want the code for your bridge to be a secret that only Microsoft knows. Like if something breaks, only Microsoft can fix it. So it's like we want stuff that anyone can come in and work on, and together collaboratively like improve the project. So yeah, that's basically what open source is. And free software is just like one more, pushing it one step further and saying you can also do whatever you want with this code. So there was a period where a lot of companies were using open source as a marketing gimmick, like how companies were using green. Oh, we're green. And that's like they're doing it more for PR than for anything else. A lot of companies started doing this with open source, but they were not free software. Free software means you can take it and do whatever you want with it. But they would say the code is open, but you can't take it and run it somewhere else for yourself. Then I can sue you. So that's not free software. It's open source, but it's not free.
Okay.
So wallets, you want wallets ideally to be free and open source, where if I find a bug in your wallet, I should be able to fix it myself or get my friends to fix it. Or if it's not behaving the way I want, I should be able to change it and run it myself and do what I want with it. Most people won't do it, but the thing is, you want to give the guarantee for the person in the most need. And this comes back to this theme of Bitcoin only. Bitcoin is primarily serving the person who's in the most need, dire need, like people in like Africa, for example, where inflation is a serious problem. They don't care about the priorities. Is not NFTs right now. We'll have NFTs in the future when we need it. Priority right now is the guy whose money is literally broken and his family can't buy milk tomorrow because it's 10 times more expensive. So Bitcoin is providing that security for those people first. So it's about the priorities and how things kind of build from there. So one thing you'll notice when you enter the whole Bitcoin space, when you enter any of these shit coins, even they're all networks. Basically, they're all like a group of people have gathered around this idea, and now they're building on it. And then they all kind of have different philosophies and different approaches, different ideas and stuff. One common thing you'll find in the Bitcoin community is everybody thinks very long term. We are not short term thinkers. We think on minimum like 3 to 5 year time scales, and we are thinking much longer than most shitcoiners are thinking. They think very immediate and like forgot where I was and I diverted.
No. So I would like to bring you back to how do you verify the wallets that we are like the open source wallets, and they're safe, and the existing wallets in the market, like the major wallets, the wallet companies, the transaction exchanges, companies, apps that are there, are they safe? Or how are the wallets that we are trying to set up today will be different and will be safer than that, or maybe different?
So different, right? So it's again a matter of defining what we're calling safe. So it's like, for the most part, an exchange, like if we take Binance as an example, it's safe because even if Binance messes up and loses your money, they are a registered company that is enforced by law to pay you back. and you will get your money back because they're an established company. So you're getting safety through the system itself. If you look at it, is really risky because your one central person is playing around with a lot of money in a very risky way. And if shit goes down, they have to kind of take on all that burden and fix it. They could, if they want. In the past, they have. Many exchanges have just fled. They've ditched everyone. But if you have a public reputation, it's harder to do that. Yeah. So for the most part, you're fine. You'll get that security. You won't get privacy. You absolutely will not get privacy because you have to submit all your documents and everything. So you're losing privacy, and you're kind of getting a different type of security. The overall system is not secure, but you as an individual, you're a little bit, maybe even I would say more secure on an exchange, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's in some ways safer because you've handed it over to somebody that you trust. And this is a normal thing. I think this is not something that's going to go away, because we found like there's alternate ways of doing this. There's a way that we actually do it in our wallet as well, where if suppose now I'm onboarding you, right? I'm teaching you how to use a Bitcoin wallet. Yeah. If you're not confident, if you're feeling a little unconfident about it, you and I can make a multi-sig, and I can be in that multi-sig with you, so that if in case you lose your keys, I can help you. I can bail you out. And you can even put a time lock on me where you say you can only bail me out after 3 years. For the first 3 years, I can do what I want. I can learn. If I lose my stuff, I'll just wait till the time passes and Vishal will bail me out because he knows what he's doing. And you're kind of, this relationship of having a bank is not going to go away. We are always going to need some kind of, but it's about now making it more nuclear, making it more like community level rather than making it this one big thing that's, the monopoly, that the central bank that's going to take on all the burden. We're just distributing it across. Yeah. And also there is always the every individual has an equal opportunity to directly take part in the money. Opportunity itself being there is really important, because 90% of us might not care about it, but the 10% who do care about it, they really care about it, because now you as an individual can start a bank today on Bitcoin. If you just learn how to handle Bitcoin properly, you can start a Bitcoin bank, and you can be a banking service, and you can start an exchange, for example. Most of these exchanges, one of their primary jobs, it's what we call custodianship. It's what's called custodianship in the industry. And that basically means taking custody of people's funds and keeping them secure. You're supposed to hold them secure. So that's your main job. So
that's what banks do actually.
Yeah, that's what banks do. So it comes at this cost. It comes at this cost of you lose control. And tomorrow, if for whatever reason, if WazirX doesn't like you or they want to censor you, they can say, no, I'm not letting you move your money. Sorry, there's a delay, 6 hours delay. Like, you lose control basically.
Yeah.
Now it comes back to the point of when this sort of in the need-based requirement for Bitcoin, where are you? If you need it at the lowest, most level, you want to stay far away from these exchanges, because if you're trying to solve censorship, if you're trying to solve privacy, if you're trying to gain control of your money, then you don't want that, because you're losing control, you're giving up control. And the thing with Bitcoin is it's so easy to take control of it that everyone should just learn to take control of it, because it's like the first step of learning to take control of your data. Like as we go forward in this, I'll show you how the Bitcoin key, you're about to make a key, you're about to make a private key, which is like your master key. So this master key, you can think of it like, think of like a black hole, like a tiny black hole. There's like a lot of entropy in that black hole. There's a lot of chaos and randomness. And it's so chaotic and random that it's really hard for anyone to guess. That's basically what you're creating as your Bitcoin key. It's a really big number. Your Bitcoin key is a really big number. And that really big number is the access to your Bitcoin. And you're generating that on, like, I'll show you an example. I use this thing called Coldcard. This is like a little calculator, but it's a calculator that calculates really big numbers, like really, 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 really big numbers. And it's creating entropy. It's creating pure randomness. It's creating really high entropy that nobody can guess. And now, because it's so unique to me, this is my entire identity. This is everything. This has enough randomness that I can make passwords for all my accounts. I can do authentication with this. I can use this for my money. My entire digital life can be secured by learning how to just use a private key. And from one private key, you can create like infinite number of private keys. So basically that's all Bitcoin. All you need to know about Bitcoin really at the bottom of it is this. And Bitcoin has made it easier even because they've created a way to understand this entropy in a human way. You have these 12 words. You'll see 12 words that'll show up. They'll generate those 12 words randomly, and those 12 words will internally turn into binary, and it will represent a really big number, and that's your private key. And because it's 12 words, one of the beauty of 12 words, one of the beauty of this mnemonic interface is that you can memorize it. You can try to memorize it. If you meditate and learn 4 words every day, pairs, you have 3 pairs of 4 words, meditate on these 4 words first day, second day, third day, and you repeat that for 1 week. In 1 week, you have this entropy in your head where you can carry all your digital value. It's like, and because it's like this little secured space in the number graph, it's like a place in its own, which nobody knows. It's a secret that only you know. And you're building like value there. You're building your house, you're building your family. And that's why when you create this seed, you have to be very careful. That's why I use a device like this, which has never it's never plugged into the internet. This way of doing it is called air gap. Air gapped is, this device has never been online. It's the most secure device you will ever have.
And where do you get this?
So in India, you can get this from a website called etherbit.in. They have Cold Card as well. This specific model is called Cold Card. I would say this is like for really geeks. If you're a geek, this is really awesome cypherpunk tool. But you have other hardware wallets as well, which have a similar concept. You generate the key on the hardware wallet, and you never put the hardware wallet online. A lot of hardware wallets make you plug it into the computer. That's kind of, it's again one step down. It's again, you want to start with the highest. It's like, how much do you really value yourself and your data? That's how much you want. You want to start with the highest thing and then work your way down and see where you fit. Or you want to start with the easiest thing and then work your way up, and slowly, kind of as you're building more value, you start doing this more carefully.
So whom do you buy from actually, and how do you verify that it's safe? Like how do I buy Bitcoin and from the exchanges? I know that I'll be buying it from the exchange, and if I need to buy personally or something, and if someone is selling, how do I verify that it's safe? And is there a method or something? Or
yeah, so when you say verify that it's safe, you mean like, am I getting it from a trusted person?
Yeah, trusted person, and am I getting the right thing as well?
Right. Yeah. So basically now there's 2 layers to this problem. Like the exchanges also face the same problem. If they're like, where do we get Bitcoin from? If everyone's coming to us, where do we get Bitcoin from? So one of the most efficient ways of doing it is to facilitate a peer-to-peer marketplace, which is what WazirX does. Everyone signs up on WazirX. There's always someone who wants to buy. There's always someone who wants to sell. And they facilitate that trade by acting as an escrow. So they'll sit in the middle and they'll say, okay, you first pay him fiat, and then he'll make the bank transfer. And then when you receive the money, you send him the Bitcoin. And if either has a problem, if there's a dispute, you go to the escrow, and the escrow will have to resolve the dispute. So actually in the Bitcoin world, it's called a multi-signature. Usually in Bitcoin, now if you want to move some Bitcoin, you have to use that seed, that private key that you have, that secret. You have to use that secret to sign. You have to sign a transaction. It's like a contract. You can think of every Bitcoin transaction as a contract, and you sign it and then you submit it. So usually it's a single signature, just your signature, and you sign. But now if we want to do a trade, we'll have you, me, and WazirX in a 3-way multi-sig, and 2 people have to sign to move the money. So now you put Bitcoin in this contract, and now you're waiting. And now I want that Bitcoin. I want to take that Bitcoin from the contract. So I'll say, okay, give me your bank details. I'll send you money. You give me your bank details. I send you the money. And now I say, okay, I sent you the money. Now I'll sign my half. So we got one signature. We need only one more signature and I can get this money. Now I'll ask you, can you sign the other part, please? If you don't sign it, or you try to cheat me, or you say you take too long, then I'll go to WazirX and I'll present my evidence. I'll say, look, this is my transaction from the bank. You can check with my bank and verify it's all done. If they think the evidence is good enough and you've not responded for really long, or you're trying to scam me, then they'll sign the second half. If you just directly sign the first half, that's the best case. We two out of three signed. Only 2 out of 3 have to sign, and we can remove these funds. So that's behind the scenes, but it doesn't happen like this on WazirX. But if you do this in a purely Bitcoin way, this is how it would sort of be. It'll be like, so that's how you get trust. That's how you know for sure I can trade with this guy. You have to at least trust the escrow. There has to be some escrow that you trust when you do a peer-to-peer trade. So you can even forget this multi-sig thing. Suppose today you met me and you tell me you want to buy. And first thing I'll be like, do I want to sell? Maybe I don't want to sell today. But then I'll be like, I actually have 2 friends who want to sell right now, and I can link you up with them. So I'm like an escrow right now. I'm telling you, you trust me, and I'm giving you a guarantee that, hey, this guy can trade with you. You can take his number, you contact him, he'll give you give him your bank details, or vice versa. Always fiat payment happens first. You pay rupees first, and then the other person pays Bitcoin. So now if you do it with people you trust, it's fine. If you're doing it with people you don't trust, you need an escrow.
So for that, you need an escrow for the middle. If you don't trust people, then you need a platform like this to help you with getting. But there are some exchange rates or some things are there in those things which you will have to be considerate about. Like the apps will have some exchange rates, right? Which the wallets won't be having. Like some commission or something.
Yes, correct. Yeah. A wallet is basically a purely Bitcoin thing. The wallet doesn't understand rupees and dollars. It's connecting straight to the Bitcoin network, and it's a purely Bitcoin infrastructure thing going on. The exchange is like a bridge between Bitcoin and the fiat world.
Yeah.
So that's usually where you will buy and sell. You can't buy and sell on the Bitcoin network because there's no way to represent rupees. You can do this escrow multi-sig thing, but even that you need some trusted person. There's some social thing that's happening. There's a social requirement to be fulfilled to kind of trust for it to be, simple. But for us, what we do most of the time is we either use local Bitcoins, which is a peer-to-peer exchange, or we use Kraken, depending on where we need. We have a business in Amsterdam as well, and one in India as well. So based on that, we use one of these 2 exchanges, but we also constantly do peer-to-peer because we have a lot of friends who are constantly buying and selling. So if we ever want to buy and sell, we first go ask all our friends. And if anyone in our group wants to buy and sell, we'll do it directly.
Yeah, slowly you enter in the community and you get to know that who you can trust or not and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is next we'll be setting up a wallet now. And
awesome.
So he'll be guiding me through that, and you get to watch how do I set up my wallet. Okay. So just a sec. So now let's start with our wallet setup. So I downloaded Samurai, as you told, SOSAMOURAI, and that's the app. So it's showing get started, break free of third-party custody, dust alert, offline mode show you interact with Bitcoin even. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing has come is choose backup directory. Your wallet needs access to file storage, so it can automatically save an encrypted backup to your wallet.
So this I would not do. I would choose not to do this. Don't put a back. So what we're going to now do is one of the important things with this seed that we spoke about before was the reason we generated on a hardware is because as much as possible, we want to keep it off a device that's connected to the internet. It's fine still. Anyway, this is what we're going to create is a mobile wallet. And what it's going to do after you write down your words, it's going to derive a key from those words and it's going to keep that key in your mobile. So you're going to have a key in your mobile anyway. So because we're making a mobile wallet, it doesn't matter whether if you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. But because you're going to write down your words now, you can recover your wallet anywhere. I'll show you how you can delete Samurai's app right now. After you receive funds into this, you can delete the wallet and you can recover your funds in a different wallet. You can use our Stackmate wallet or you can use Blue Wallet. You just need the words. You need to write down the words somewhere safe. And then your mobile is it can break also, it's fine. But you have to write down those words.
So right now I'll cancel this, right?
Yeah, you can cancel that. You don't need that.
Okay, then it's like, would you like to enable Tor, TOR?
Yeah, enable Tor as well.
What is Tor?
You some private. So Tor basically, so before we get to Tor, I'll explain a basic thing of how a wallet works. So the wallet has two parts. There's like a part that's on your phone, and then there's a part that requires you to ask a server for something. And that server that it goes to is a Bitcoin full node. Now, this Bitcoin full node, it's very easy to run yourself. You can run your own node and your wallet can talk directly to your own node. But most wallets will come with some default third-party node, which most of them are fine. And most of them are good, like compared to shitcoiners and some compared to centralized exchanges, these companies have better privacy policy and they won't record your information and stuff. And anyway, the only information they can record is your IP address, because you didn't put your name, you didn't put any personal information yet. So they'll just know your IP address and your public key. The Bitcoin public key is basically the other side of the private key. It's what you can share with other people. It's how you get addresses. If you've seen, the address is how you receive money. That address you can publicly give people. But that public address will be linked to an IP address if you don't use Tor. If you use Tor, then whichever node you're talking to also doesn't know your IP address. So you're getting like complete privacy. There's a trade-off. It'll slow you down a little bit. Tor will make things a little bit slow, but it'll give you privacy. So you can decide whether you want it or not. It's up to you.
Cool. So I just, for the sake of it, I've just activated it. And then would you like to connect to your own Dojo server?
So for now, you'd say no. That's basically Samurai's way of letting you run your own node.
Okay, so I'll click on create a new wallet. I don't have an existing wallet, so I'll create a new wallet.
Yep.
Okay. Then create a passphrase, re-enter a passphrase.
Okay, so this is important. So I had mentioned earlier, you're going to get these 12 words.
Yeah.
So now these 12 words is basically your key. But if you're not happy with 12 words and you want like even more security, you have two options. One, you can choose 24 words, which will double the entropy. And then if you're not happy with 24 words also, you can add an extra custom addition to it. So that's what they call passphrase. So you can have 24 words plus a passphrase. So now it's even more difficult for people to guess. But I would say when you're just starting off, you can ignore the passphrase. It's easier without the passphrase. But if you're going to put a passphrase, the really important thing is you have to write down the passphrase as well, or you have to remember the passphrase, because just the seed is not going to work if you put a passphrase. If you don't put a passphrase, you're fine. Just write the words and it's fine. But if you put a passphrase, make sure you write that down as well. But I would save that only for technical people or like really high funds. Then maybe you can think about it. But for now, I think it's better without.
So, okay. So I'll click on, I understand that Samurai cannot provide assistance in the case of lost or forgotten passphrases. Samurai never has any knowledge of my passphrase. So I don't need to click on that, and I can just click on next without putting up a passphrase, right?
Yep.
Passphrase does not matter. Please try again. So I understand after this. No, I'll have to create a passphrase. It's create a secure passphrase for your wallet. It's not letting me go ahead without a passphrase.
Okay, then make a passphrase, but then you have to start writing it right away. So you want to get like some kind of a. So this thing also, like how you're going to write down your seed, that is something that you can get creative about. Like there's so many ways to do it. Like I have a little thing here where this is called a steel plate, and you can literally carve you can carve your seed into the steel.
Yeah.
So you can bury this in the ground also, and it's resistant to fire, and it can take a lot of things. Or you can write it in your favorite book somewhere, or even in your favorite book, you can put it in specific pages if you want, or you can get creative about it based on how much funds you have. But on the most basic level, write it down on some piece of paper that, or in a book that is private and safe.
Yeah. For now, I'm just writing
And
it.
don't type it anywhere. Do not type it on a computer, and do not take screenshots also of it. It should be a
Okay.
totally off. Yeah, it has to be a totally offline thing. Because if it has every trace it has online is a
No,
path
just
for
for the sake
someone
of
to.
remembrance right now, I am putting it, then I'll delete it and I'll write it somewhere.
I would say write it right away. Get into the habit of that, because this is
Okay.
like a one-time thing. You write once
Okay,
and you
then
forget.
let me get something. A piece of paper. Putting it here. Okay, passphrase is just like a password, right?
Yeah, on top of your seed, it's an additional. So actually, it should be the last. It would be when you're typing it. It'll be the last thing you type after your seed.
Yeah, okay, I'm clicking next now. Huh? Then set
Yeah.
pin code between 5 and 8 characters.
Yeah.
So
This you don't have to. This is just for you. You'll have to set it up, but you don't have to write it down. This is just for
yeah,
the app.
finished. Okay, create your offline paper backup. Without a backup, your Bitcoin wallet is at risk of uncovery, and download and print the PDF template to make the backup as easy as possible. Download PDF template. Shall I download?
No.
No, I should
Don't
just
take
go
that
ahead, right?
PDF. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then write down words down and keep them secret. Together with your passphrase, they allow access to your wallet. So I've got 12 words. So what do I do with it?
So now you write those words, and the order of the words matters. So what next to each word, put the number also, like word 1, word 2, word 3, and write down all of them basically. But people should know, like, never to type down in a real life case where you're setting up a wallet for your actual stuff. It's a matter of taking out 15 minutes for years of peace of mind. So like this is like the most important process, and then everything you can go play around and have mobile wallets and know that your backup is like safe.
Claim your PNM bot. Skip.
No, cancels. Skip the over the years, Samurai has become really like.
Okay, your
it's
wallet
a whole
needs
other.
access to file storage, so it can. So I'll cancel this again, right?
Yeah, you
Backup
can
directory.
cancel. You're basically done right now. Like right now,
Yeah,
you
so
don't even
yeah.
need Samurai. Right now, you
Yeah.
can delete Samurai wallet. You don't need it.
Okay,
So those 12
yeah.
those 12 words you have is like everything. So now those 12 words, you can put it into any wallet and you can recover your thing. And right now your wallet has no money, so we'll still use Samurai to receive some funds. Yeah, there'll be a receive option somewhere in the plus receive.
Yeah.
And you'll have like a QR code.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Address.
Yeah.
So that address is basically how you receive. That's like your email address, your Bitcoin address. Every time you generate a new one, for each transaction, you generate a new address. And
so I got this address, and there is an advanced setting as well in the down. So how do I send it to you, and how do I like send you the money and stuff?
so now if you send me that, you can just click on the address and it'll copy it on your clipboard, and you can send it to me on Signal.
Okay. I sent you that. Yeah, for the sake of this video, we are doing 100 rupees transaction of Bitcoin. Okay.
I'll just type in on Google INR to BTC. So INR 100 is 4,300 sats. So one thing that's really important thing I think that we should cover in this is the unit. So in Bitcoin, we have two units. One is BTC, which you see as has 8 decimal points
Yeah.
after the first. has 8 zeros after the decimal. And the primary unit on the Bitcoin network is Satoshis. Sats, it's short for Sats. So when miners talk about mining fees, it's always calculated in Sats per byte. So your transaction has a certain size. Per byte, it's some amount of Sats. So one Sat is 0.7 zeros and 1. Okay. So Bitcoin has 8 allocations for after the decimal point. If you just put 1 at the end, 0.00001, that's 1 sat. And then you have 10 sats, 100 sats, 1,000 sats, 10,000 sats, 100,000 sats, 1 million sats, 10 million sats, and then 100 million sats is 1 BTC. 1 BTC equals 100 million sats.
Cool.
Yeah.
And if I want to sell something from here, I can't sell it on WazirX or other places, right? I'll have to sell it directly to someone.
You can sell it on WazirX as well. You can deposit into WazirX and you can sell it there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep. Yeah. Like if I need urgent liquidity or something, then I can put it up there. And so yeah, right now I've received 4,300 sats from Vishal. And yeah, this is how it's done. This is how this wallet should be set up. And you can transact. And what are the other uses you were telling me that if I want to sell this, sell the BTC, I can sell it directly as well. And if I want to do it through a platform like WazirX or something, I can do that as well. And how do I do it from that?
So that would just be your usual make an account with them and just follow their instructions and they'll guide you through it. And their whole website, it's a little longer process and you have to put your ID and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a separate thing, but
yeah, I already have an account with them. So if I want to sell, I'll just have to put my this thing like the send key, which I'll be getting.
Yeah, you like how you gave me an address now from Samurai. You'll have to get an address from WazirX. They'll give you an address.
Okay.
And now from your Samurai, you send it to them.
Okay,
and
cool.
Then you'll have it there, and then you can use it from their wallet and do.
And then I'll receive the money. Yeah.
What the other downside of these exchanges is now I just now sent you 4,300 sats, and I paid 300 sats as fees. You could on an exchange, the minimum fees is 50,000. That's how much 30 divided by 50,000 is. 300 divided by 50,000 is 500 x. 200. Wait, my maths is so bad. My raw math.
Yeah, it's somewhere around that 50,000. Yeah,
50,000. It's actually WazirX is 60,000. That makes it easier. It's something like 200x or something, right? 200x. You're paying 200 times more fees. It's no joke. But the thing is, this only matters because if you're a small guy, if you're a small volume guy, then it hurts you more. But if you're trading one full BTC or like 100 million sats or something like that, millions of sats, then 50,000 sats is okay. But still not justifiable when the whole network is paying like 300.
Right.
Even 300, it's going to take some time to confirm. It's not, this transaction is technically, it's an unconfirmed transaction. I could reverse this transaction. So because you trust me, you're like, okay, I consider this is received. But if you did this trade peer-to-peer with somebody, you should not consider it paid yet. Even though you can see it in your wallet, it's got 0 confirmations, which means that it's not yet accepted in the chain.
So how do I get that accepted? Like I don't want to lose this. So how do I get that?
So now there's 2 things. One is either you wait, because the problem is somebody paid low fees. So you're not getting accepted fast enough. So one thing you can do is on your side, on the receiving side, you have this option to bump the fees. So you can increase the fees. So me as a sender, I'll put low fees and I'll send it to you. And if you want to get it faster, you can bump it from your side. But to bump it from your side, you already need to have funds in your wallet. Right now, you don't have anything, so you can't bump it. so that's one way of doing it. The other way is you just have to wait, or like if you're if you're doing a trade or something and you are very particular about it, you don't trust this person, then you ask them to put high fees and you sort of pay for the fees also. Like you send me 100 rupees, I'll say send me 110 and I'll put high fees for you or whatever. You cover the fees also and I'll trade with you. But definitely 50,000, 60,000 sats is it's a joke. It's like a daylight robbery.
Way too much. Yeah.
Like
right.
Even if you put 10,000, if I put 5,000 sats even right now, I'll get confirmed really fast. I put 300.
So Vishal, it was amazing talking to you and getting to know about this. And we have set up a wallet. And of course, we'll be doing much more episodes and things on this. So guys, if you need any specific kind of inquiry about Bitcoin, and I would say keep it about Bitcoin only. So please
just understand I would say understand the Bitcoin universe. There's so much so there's this other thing. I'm not going to pull up the image now, but people think Bitcoin just happened in 2009 and it's been since 2009. It's been since 1970. If you look at the history of development of the cypherpunks, of cryptography, of maintaining cryptography in the open domain. So actually a nice way to close is just a little bit of history. So the entire movement started in 1970 when the US government had raided MIT. The university MIT was raided by the US government because they were doing research in cryptography. And the government classified all that work as, I forgot the term, but basically it was, this is all government research. You can't do this in the public domain. It's top secret, basically. And if anybody is found working with this stuff publicly, the law, the crime that you would be charged with is equivalent of transferring a weapon. It came under the Munitions Act. The Munitions Act was for weapons, and the cryptography was put in the Munitions Act. So that's when this whole thing began. They're like, man, these guys are taking away the individual's freedom in a digital age. Without cryptography, you have no privacy, you have no individuality. Your sense of self is not there because you are just a thing for the public. It's communism, basically. It's the opposite of what's essentially the capitalist. Again, the term capitalism is a little misunderstood to me as well. It's a long subject that we can get into.
Beyond the democratic behavior which you should be having.
It's more about individual responsibility and giving the individual the room to reach his highest self. And from that highest self, the individual will always look after community. It's a given. You don't have to put the community first, because if you put the community first, you're preventing us from making those leaps. You won't have like Elon Musk who just pushed through everybody else. It's because we allowed individuals to thrive. And we know that these individuals who go out there, they will take everybody with them. This is how fully realized human beings behave. They'll tell you otherwise, but when a human is fully actualized, they want a good social environment. They don't want to see people suffering. You don't want that. You try to minimize it as much as you can. Right. So it started with just cryptography on its own, encryption on its own, just being attacked by the state. They didn't want to give it to the people. And we were trying to keep cryptography in the public domain and research it in open source and free software. And one of the really well-known developers in Bitcoin, his name is Adam Back. He's one of the people that they suspect of being Satoshi, part of that group. But this guy, when he was in 1970, he was like 18 years old or something, 18-year-old kid studying maths, doing his PhD in maths. And he was traveling to the US for this conference in cryptography. And again, when we say crypto, what we used to always mean was cryptography, not cryptocurrencies. Like crypto is the ethos of cryptography to protect individuals and to, drive us in that way. Yeah. So this guy, what he did when he was traveling from England to the US, he printed out the source code for RSA encryption on his t-shirt. And on the back of the t-shirt, he had the Munitions Act and a stamp saying void. And he just walked around with this like, public, here you go. This is how you encrypt your stuff. Protect yourself. These guys don't want you to protect yourself. They want to control you. They want to prevent you from reaching your, fully sprouting. So this all has a very long history. And if people go into it it's like your due diligence is to understand Bitcoin first before going out into the other stuff. And I would say every individual has, to make their own decision finally, but they can be set out on the right track and avoid a lot of
research a bit, read a
pitfalls.
bit about all these things before trying to invest or before listening this. But I would suggest that if you do plan on investing on Bitcoin and those stuff, these are the tools that we have available for us, and that Vishal was gracious enough with his time to show us how to use those tools. And he's trying to shed light on all those things, the misconceptions around the cryptocurrencies, as they say, and the shit coins as well. So you can put in the comments below whatever kind of questions you have, whatever kind of queries you have. And if there are some small queries, we'll try and figure it out in the comments only. And if there are a bunch of questions or bunch of queries that you need a specific video about, I'll try and get Vishal to do a podcast with me again regarding those specific queries, and we'll address those as well. So yeah, please always try and research and do your own due diligence before investing in anything. I guess that's a given, that you do your own. Even if there's a stock suggestion or tip you get from anyone, you go and you do your due diligence. And after you trust a company or after you trust an asset, then you go and invest in those, right? So this is the basic thing. And thank you, Vishal. Thanks a lot for this amazing thing. We have had such an amazing conversation today as well, and in the past as well. And I was so enlightened that I want my viewers to have that as well. And I'm sure that we'll be having more of these, so the people get more enlightened, and they get we can vary into much deeper stuff as well for people to understand. Right now, I'm a noob, and I'm also researching, I'm also learning, and I'm also trying to get up with you. But so how's the experience, and what are your ending thoughts, if you have any?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Everyone has to start somewhere, and no one's going to get it right the first time. And it's basically about us, reminding each other of, like, if I've gone to some place and I fell and I got hurt, I want to come and tell people about it so that they don't make the same mistake. And now maybe you can progress a little bit faster. And it's just about sharing those experiences. And finally, ultimately, what you do is up to you. But there's a lot at stake. And this is kind of, Bitcoin is a little bit, it's more than just about buying at 100 rupees and selling at 200 rupees. That's like so I usually think of it, there's three kind of people in Bitcoin. There's the trader, there's the investor, and there's a player. You want to start being a player. Start being a player in the new economy. There's new money that we've defined, a new sound money. That's like it's changed the playground. The playing field is different. The way you think about business is different. The way you build solutions is different. The kind of things you do is all different. So start there. Start thinking of how to make, like, we all want to make money. We all want to earn and create value. But this thing of fast money, that's the danger. You want to think of a way that you have a long-term plan to keep building your wealth, rather than trying to rely on. The traders are the biggest losers, because they live on, somebody has to go down for the trader to go up. The investor, at least he's there for a while. He's like, he understands the project, he's committed, he wants to help it move forward. And the player is right in the middle. He's doing the thing. So I would put myself more in the player zone. I became an investor later. Only now I have enough money to be an investor. Like investors, you need to have a lot of money to be an investor. Traders are just sitting on the sideline watching and trying to, speculate on price. And it's not a guaranteed way of creating value in the world. You're not creating much value in the world. I would go as far as saying we don't really need traders. We just, the traders are like this outer layer of speculative investors. We just need investors. We just need sound investors. We need good investors who believe in projects, who fund projects, who put capital to work. Traders are sitting on the edge, trying to just quickly manipulate markets, and you always need somebody to go down for you to go up. And that kind of is not a nice way to sleep at night, even.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways to make money in the world. You just have to build your skills. Like we say, Bitcoin is for everyone. It's for the chaiwala, it's for the mechanic, it's for the traders, it's for the engineer, it's for the doctor. but it's allowing everybody to focus on being the best in their domain, because they want to stack sats. This new money captures value much better than the old money. So you want to start earning in Bitcoin. You want to start thinking about, how can I start earning money in Bitcoin? How can I start a savings plan in Bitcoin rather than putting in mutual funds or something? It's always these long-term things. The solutions are not short-term. No short-term solution is going to keep you. It might, give you a kick for a few days, and all these stories that you hear that, my uncle got so rich on a trade. It's like for every one uncle who gets rich on a trade, there's a 10,000 kids who got wrecked, got absolutely wrecked. Yeah. You don't hear about them. So don't be one of those 10,000. And don't try to be that one uncle also.
Yeah. That's an amazing note to end. So guys, please like the video if you really like this conversation. And if you're hearing on Spotify, please follow the podcast. And please share this if you find it interesting and if you find it cool, and subscribe to the channel. So yeah, bye-bye. Thanks, Vishal.
Awesome.
Love.
Cheers, man.
Peace. Bye-bye, everyone.